Yeah, so currently I'm a sales director for a company called BTYSTE. We specialise in back-end data transfer. Before that, I used to play professional rugby for Leinster in Ireland, and prior to that, I did my degree in plant and microbial biotechnology in UCC. Very well, I'm hoping. I think we have a strong chance of a semi-final, and if we get to that, I mean, I wouldn't bet against us. But to get there, we have to get past either New Zealand or South Africa, so that's going to be a big tall ask, I think. They're kind of kept in shape. Well, you obviously have to watch what you're eating, but you know the training is hard enough that you know if you're not overdoing it, you should be in good nick. But everything is carefully measured and monitored to make sure that you're in the best possible shape you can be going into a big game. I think on average it's about between 500 and 550. And the guys who shoulder the most of that is of course the front row, because we're actually the lads who do the work. So the hardest I've ever been hit was probably by a guy called Chris Halafia, who was a Tongan international. He absolutely leveled me in training one day, and a few years later I was playing against him because I was playing for Harlequins and he was playing for I think Llanelli, and I just kept a mile away from him. The hardest hitter, one of the hardest hitters I ever worked with was Mike McCarthy. He was a second row, played for Leinster and Connacht, and there's a lovely YouTube video of him absolutely marmalising BTYSTE, who everyone knows is not the easiest guy to put down. I think the latest measurement was about 1,600 newtons, which for context that's equivalent to being hit by a car at 30 miles an hour. Now, it doesn't arrive all at that point, but if you've got 8 very strong lads pushing against each other, then you're going to generate forces along those lines. One of my favourite rugby players growing up, a couple, you really had a lot of time for Os Durant, who was a South African loosehead, really much the prototype modern prop, massive and could move, and also Keith Wood, because we needed a few heroes to cheer for during the 90s. In terms of heroes now, it's going to sound a bit soppy, but he's retired just recently, but Easton Asewa was always one of my favourite players to play with because he always just put his body on the line. It kind of varies from match to match, but it's usually around 8 kilometres. Now that won't all be running, some will be walking, some will be jogging, but then all that's always measured. So a thing Ireland does is measure the number of accelerations you put in during the game, and the more accelerations, generally the more involved in the game you are. Science and technology plays a massive role in the modern game. If you look at the players taken to the field any week, you're going to see a little pouch in the back of their necks that contains the GPS unit, which will measure their number, the distance travelled, accelerations, impact forces. It can also flag if a player is kind of starting to carry an injury. Every morning when the Leinster players go in, they use this technology provided by a group called Kitman, software called Kitman by Kitman Labs, and that'll measure your baseline, so your sit and reach score, your knee to wall, all those measurements within fed into the system, and then the system will automatically flag the physio if you're looking like you might be at a higher risk for an injury. Everything we do was tracked, weighed and monitored, so you can't really get away from STEM inside in rugby. I do. I had a science degree, and I think a science degree teaches you to think in a certain way, cause and effect. And you certainly see that in sport. If I train harder, my game gets better. So, and of course in the scrum it's all about careful application of physics. So yeah, I think doing a STEM degree is a great background for anything. It's important. I mean, you get to meet a lot of people doing it. You know, you're forced to do research yourself and figure things out, and also, you know, you're not going to be researching something you're passionate for. So it helps you discover more about yourself, and you know, sometimes some really good stuff comes out of it, and a lot of the former winners have gone on to great things. Hi, I'm Mike Ross. If you're thinking about getting your entries in for the BT Young Scientists and Technology exhibition, then you need to have them in by midnight on September the 24th, so get a move on.